So yesterday, not yesterday, Tuesday, the last one was number 103. The living entity is subject to birth and death, attain immortality when he give up all material activities, dedicates his life to the execution of my order and acts according to my direction. In this way, he becomes fit to enjoy the spiritual bliss is derived from exchanging mellows of me. Okay, so now the situation is Krishna did say here, there are two types of devotees. One who totally surrendered to me, and those who are doing the regulative principles because, excuse me, yeah, those, and he says, I'm yours. That's full surrender. But if you haven't reached that level, so this, excuse me, this is what you're supposed to do from 104 onwards. Okay, who would like to start reading 104, 105, 106?
May I?
Yes, please.
104. Can you? Okay. Thank you. Oh, too low already.
Yeah, already. I'm trying to get rid of the square. The square is already.
Text 104. My dear Sanatana, please now hear about the regulative principles for execution of devotional service. By this process, one can attain the highest perfection of love of Godhead, which is the most desirable treasure. 105. When transcendental devotional service, when transcendental devotional service by which love for Krishna is attained is executed by the senses, it is called sadhana bhakti, or the regulative discharge of devotional service. Such devotion eternally exists within the heart of every living entity. The awakening of this eternal devotion is the potentiality of devotional service in practice. 106. The spiritual activities of hearing, chanting, remembering, and so forth are the natural characteristics of devotional service. The marginal characteristic is that it awakens pure love for Krishna. Hare Krishna.
So here, like we are to reach the level of pure devotional service. So now Krishna is going to explain. Actually, he is explaining to his disciple Sanatan Goswami. And so when he's explaining to Sanatan Goswami, of course, it's being recorded. And once it's being recorded, it is actually for us also. So he said the regulative principles, you follow the rules and regulations, you will get to the love of Godhead. Once you reach the love of Godhead, then you don't need to follow the rules and regulations so strictly. But because you haven't reached the love of Godhead, then you have to follow strictly to reach that level, you know. So it's just like when you go to school, you have to study very hard and learn everything. But once you're working already, then you don't have to so much follow what you learn in school. Then the practical things come into the picture. You understand? You become more experienced. That is studies, then this becomes experience. So now you have to go through some studies first. And then once you reach that level, then it switches to experience. Okay? So Krishna is going on. The first thing that you must understand is hearing about the Lord, chanting about the Lord, and chanting the Mahamantra, and remembering the pastimes are the natural characteristics of devotional service. When you do this, then you will get awakened. In our heart is always there is a pure love of Krishna. so it starts awakening. Okay, 107, 108, 109. Who would like to do?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Text 107. Pure love for Krishna is eternally established in the hearts of the living entities. It is not something to be gained from another source. When the heart is purified by hearing and chanting, this lovely natural awakens. Text 108. There are two processes of practical devotional service. One is regulative devotional service and the other is spontaneous devotional service. Text 109. Those who have not attained the platform of spontaneous attachment in devotional service render devotional service under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master according to the regulative principles mentioned in the revealed scriptures. According to the revealed scriptures, this kind of devotional service is called Vaidhi Bhakti.
Yeah, so these are the rules and regulations of devotional service. You follow them. You go to school every day. You learn, and then after that you graduate. Okay, this is basically, if you don't have spontaneous love for Krishna, you have to go through this because it's there. It's like a seed in your heart. You have to put water, you have to put the effort, and then the seed starts growing, and then it becomes a tree. When it becomes a tree, then it bears fruit. That is the thing that we want to come to. Okay? Okay. So 1, 10, 11, 12. Ram?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. O descendant of Bharata, O Maharaj Prashid, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in everyone's heart as Paramatma, who is Supreme Controller and who is always removes.
Sorry.
No problem.
I'm trying to get rid of that one and it becomes clear like that. 1 minute. Huh? Okay, carry on.
And who always removes the miseries of the living entities must always be heard from the reliable sources, and he must be glorified and remembered by one who wishes to become fearless. Text 111. From the mouth of Brahma, the Brahmanical order has come into existence. Similarly, from his arm, the Kshatriyas have come, and from his waist, the Vaishnavas have come, and from his leg, the Sudras have come. These four orders and their spiritual counterparts, Brahmacharya, Grahastra, Vanaprasthana, and Sannyasa, combine to make the human society complete. Text 112. If one simply maintains an official position in the official position in the four varnas and asrama, but does not worship the Supreme Lord Vishnu, he falls down from his puffed up position into a hellish condition. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
So here you can see that we have four ashrams. Normally when the person is born, he becomes a brahmachari, and then he becomes a householder, then he becomes renounced from the family and life, then he becomes renounced from totally even his household and goes out preaching. So these are the four. You can start with the first and go to the end. But there are many people who start here and then goes here, and then after that you must come to at least a Vanaprastha stage. You don't have to go to the sannyas stage. But Vanaprastha, at least you must become, even in the Garastha state, you are attached to your family but also detached, in the sense that you are not totally, you understand that the attachment really is to Krishna, but your family are part and parcel of Krishna, so I'm attached to them in that way. So in this way, you get the maturity in understanding. So here Krishna says that some are Brahmin class and priest group. Some are what you call ruling group. Some are business group, and some are working group. So a person can be a working group, and then he can become a business group, then he can become, if he becomes a politician, then he becomes a ruling group. Or if he become very attached to the Lord and he renounce everything and he does only prayers, I mean temple worship service and stays in a temple, he becomes a Brahmana group. So in this way, a person can change in one life to what to say about next birth, right? So you don't have to wait for next birth. Even this one birth, you will change. So it's saying that if you just are very happy in your four divisions of this of work and four divisions of life, family life or non-family, then and you don't care about the Supreme Lord, that's useless. It is actually no use. In the end, you get nothing. Okay, 113 to 115.
I read again.
Yeah.
Krishna, 113, sorry. Krishna is the origin of Lord Vishnu. He should always be remembered and never forgotten at any time. All, sorry. All rules and prohibitions mentioned in the Shastras should be the servant of these two principles. 114. I shall say something about the various practices of devotional service, which is expanded in so many ways. I wish to speak briefly on the essential practices. 115. On the path of regulative devotional service, one must observe the following items. One must accept the bona fide spiritual master. 2, one must accept initiation from him. 3, one must serve him. 4, one must receive instructions from the spiritual master and make inquiries in order to learn devotional service. And 5, one must follow in the footsteps of the previous acharyas and follow the directions given by the spiritual master. Hare Krishna.
So you see what are the do's and don'ts. You have to be understand what Mahaprabhu is now explaining to everyone. He's saying that Krishna is the origin of Vishnu. From Krishna comes Vishnu. There are many people say that Vishnu is supreme. Krishna is the incarnation of Vishnu. Here it's very clearly saying that Krishna is the origin. Okay. So, and he should always be remembered, because at the time of death also you remember him. At the time you are in the world also you should remember him always. You know, all the rules and prohibitions should be the servants of these two principles. That means all these are the most important. All the rules and regulations, if they don't help you remember Krishna, then it's a useless rule and regulation not to follow. Then a second thing is on path of regulative devotional service. That means you are now in the seed form, you're watering the plant, slowly is becoming big. You must do these following things. You must have a spiritual master, because the spiritual master is a spokesman for Krishna. He sees you and he sees what you should do and what not to do. Just like a doctor, when you go to him, he sees what is wrong with you and then he gives you the proper medicine. You can't self-medicate. So that is why you need a spiritual master who will medicate you for spiritual progress. And you should take initiation from him. If you take initiation, then it's a formal form of relationship. One must serve him. Once you take initiation, you should also serve him. Just like you must, how the spiritual master is helping you, so you must also serve him and help him in his efforts to preach to the whole world. So sometimes how you serve him, maybe you give him some donation, or maybe he is coming to your city, you ask him to stay with you, and then you also give him food and shelter, you know. And then one must receive instruction. We should take instruction and make inquiries. That means you learn from him. So sometimes you cannot be, you don't have, then maybe you can take a Siksha Guru and learn from him. One must follow in the footsteps of previous Acharyas. How the previous Acharyas have followed Krishna consciousness, you also follow. And the spiritual master is coming from the previous Acharya, bona fide sampradaya. You must go through the bona fide sampradaya, not a sampradaya which has been made up. Okay, Saru, can you read?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Text 115.
No, 6.
Text 116. The next steps are as follows. One should be prepared to give up everything for Krishna's satisfaction, and one should also accept everything for Krishna's satisfaction. 7. One must live in a place where Krishna is present, a city like Vrindavana or Mathura or a Krishna temple. One should acquire a livelihood that is just sufficient to keep body and soul together. One must fast on the Ekadasi day. Text 117. One should worship Datri trees, banyan trees, cows, brahmanas, and devotees of Lord Vishnu. One should avoid offenses against devotional service and the holy name. Text 118. The 12th item is to give up the company of non-devotees. One should not accept an unlimited number of disciples. One should not partially study many scriptures just to be able to give references and expand explanations. Hare Krishna.
So the next step is you must do everything that is as per how Krishna will be pleased with you, right? And you should not do anything which will make Krishna not pleased with you. And you should live in a place, holy dham. If not, you live in a Krishna temple, but that is also not possible. How are you going to live in Krishna temple? If all the devotees stay in the temple, also cannot. You know, so basically you make your house into a temple. Okay. And then one should acquire livelihood, honest livelihood, so that and don't be too greedy. And you should fast on Ekadasi day, and you should worship the holy trees, banyan trees, cows, brahmanas, and devotees of Lord Vishnu. Means the devotees of Lord Krishna you should worship in the sense that you should serve them, look after them, you know, make them happy. One should avoid offenses against devotional service. That means you should not do devotional service for material gain. You should do it because of your interest in devotional life and the holy name. That means you chant the holy name. And the 12th item is to give up the company of non-devotees, because non-devotees will make you do non-devotional things, make you do materialistic things. One should not accept unlimited number of disciples. This is for spiritual masters, not for you. You know, you should not take too many disciples. And one should not study scripture just to look like clever person. You know, so that is another thing that is not recommended to do. Okay, 119, 120, 121. Viji. Viji not there?
Ram not yet read.
Okay, Ram, read.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Text 119. The devotee should treat losses and gains equally. 16. The devotee should not be overwhelmed by lamentation. 17. The devotee should not worship demigods, nor should he disrespect them. Similarly, the devotee should not study or criticize other scriptures. Text 120:18. The devotee should not hear Lord Vishnu or his devotees blaspheme them. 19. The devotee should avoid reading or hearing newspapers or mundane books that contain stories of love affairs between men and women or subjects palatable to the senses. Neither 20. Neither by mind nor words should the
And today memang internet very bad. How about for all of you?
so far it's good,
Yeah.
okay.
Mine is okay.
Okay, proceed.
Text 121. After one is established in devotional service, the positive actions are hearing, chanting, remembering, worshipping, praying, serving, accepting servitorship, becoming a friend, and surrendering fully. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So you should not think too much happy when you get so much things, or unhappy when something is taken away from you. You should not be, oh, you should not cry too much. Someone dies. You must understand that this is the spirit soul. So you don't worry so much. You should not worship devas. Don't think that they are the supreme lord. But you should not disrespect them. You should also respect them. Similarly, a devotee should not study or criticize other scriptures. So basically, this is more for people who haven't started their own reading their own scripture. So you should actually read all your scripture. And sometimes when you are wanting to do preaching, then maybe you can understand some other scripture. But you should never criticize the scriptures, because they are all trying to reach God. Only their level of understanding the scriptures may not be complete. So basically, the Vedic scriptures are the best. So whatever the other people are saying, but the Vedic scriptures are the most complete. So that's why the other scriptures are not complete. They will only make you a little bit. If you are not a mature devotee, you will not be able to understand or think carefully, correctly. And then the devotee should not hear about Krishna, Vishnu, or his devotees blasphemy. If someone talking bad about devotee, you tell them to shut up. If you don't want to tell them shut up, just leave. The devotee should avoid reading things that make you materially attached. Like love stories sometimes between man and woman, they don't have God in the middle. They have the man is saying that the woman is the only thing that may make him happy, and the woman will think that the man is the only thing that make him happy. These are all actually illusionary things. If the man and the woman can be happy, if they put Krishna in the center, okay, and then no, the devotee should not think badly or say badly about any other person. You know, regardless of how significant it is. Even if he is very insignificant, you should never think, oh, what a lousy person and all that. Everyone is suffering under the modes of material nature. They may be under the mode of ignorance. What can we do? What, they are suffering. So you just have compassion, that's all. And then once you're already established in this system, then you should hear more, chant more, remember the pastimes more, worship more, and do more prayers, and do more service to the Lord and the devotees. And also sometimes the devotees serve you. So you are serving the devotees, devotees also serve you. This is one of the 6 exchanges in devotee relationship. So you serve and you accept service. Don't say, no, no, I don't want your service. I only want to serve you. No, you should allow them to serve you also if they want to. Becoming a friend with the Lord, and you surrender fully to the Lord. So this is the 9 processes of devotional service. You see, sometimes you also serve the Lord, and sometimes the Lord is serving you. You also must let him serve you. Sometimes he's serving you. So what to do? There are many cases where the Lord comes and helps you. So you are getting service from the Lord. But you should not demand that. Huh? Okay, 122, 123, 124.
Okay, I will read now.
Okay.
122. One should also dance before the deity, sing before the deity, open one's mind to the deity, offer obeisances to the deity, stand up before the deity and the spiritual master just to show them respect, follow the deity or the spiritual master, and visit different places of pilgrimage, or go see the deity in the temple. Text 123. One should circumambulate the temple, recite various prayers, chant softly, chant congregationally, smell the incense and the flower garlands offered to the deity, and eat the remnants of food offered to the deity. 124. One should attend arati and festival, see the deity, present what is very dear, present what is very dear to oneself to the deity, meditate on the deity, and serve those related to the Lord. Hare Krishna.
So here you should dance before the deity. Sometimes you have professional dancers dancing in the front of the deity. But it doesn't really matter. Sometimes when the kirtan is going on, the devotees are dancing, you can also dance. It's not say like that. You see, sometimes when the kirtan is so good, you will see that some devotees, they don't sit down, they will go up behind and not to block anyone, and they will just dance there. So it is actually dancing before the deity. The deity gets pleased because you're dancing for the deity. You should not be dancing for yourself. And then you should sing for the deity. Sometimes you can sing Hare Krishna in front of the deity. Sometimes you can just sing some bhajan. And then you should also speak your mind to the deity. You must treat the deity like the Supreme Lord. You say, oh Lord, I'm here. I'm very pleased to see you. Something like that. Open your mind. Sometimes you got problem also, you open your mind. Lord, I know I have this problem. I know it's my karma, but anyway, it's disturbing me. Then you should offer obeisance to the deity. When you come in front of the deity, you should bow down, right? Then also you should stand up before the deity. When the curtain opens, you should bow down and then stand up and then later sit down. And if the spiritual master comes, you are sitting down, spiritual master comes, you should get up. And then later on you can sit down, okay? To show respect. And you should follow the deity and the spiritual master. Of course, not everyone can follow, but when the spiritual master is coming, a lot of people will follow. But sometimes also you should not everyone follow, then the spiritual master will feel uncomfortable. So that is also not so good. And then when the deity goes on a procession, you also follow the deity. And then you go to different places of holy places to see deities in temples. Okay? And then when you go to the temple, you should go around the temple 3 times. And then you can also recite prayers. You know, some people do. And then you can chant in front of the deity. And then you can chant also when there is a kirtan going on, you chant with the devotee. And then when the flower is being offered, you can, the fragrance of the incense will come, you can take in the fragrance in your nose, through your nose and relish. And sometimes the flower garlands are offered deity, then they come and given to you. Then you can also smell them. Eat the remnants of food, then you should eat prasad offered to the deity. You should also in your house try and offer whatever you're cooking to the deity, and then after that take it out and take it as prasad. And then when there's a arti in the temple or wherever, you should come and attend. And you should also come, when there are festivals, you should come for the festivals. The festivals normally is appearance day, or maybe Lord Ram, Lord Krishna, or certain very Nrsimha Day, or Mahaprabhu Nityanand. So you should, it's their birthday. So you go and you will go to your friend's birthday, but you should come to the Lord's birthday also. And then when you come to the temple, you should see the deity. Some people, they come temple, they straight away go for the prasad is being. Okay, you should see the deity, present what is dear to the deity, and meditate on the deity. Look at the beauty of the deity and serve those related to the Lord. Serve the devotees. Okay. So next 125 to 127. Saru?
Prabhu, I can't see the screen. My screen is empty.
Huh? Okay, 1 minute. Sorry.
My screen is blank. It says, okay. Yeah, you can see.
Now can. Okay.
Text 125, 126, 127. Huh? Text 125. Tadiya means the Tulasi leaves, the devotees of Krishna, the birthplace of Krishna, Mathura, and the Vedic literature, Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishna is very eager to see his devotees serve Tulasi, Vaishnavas, Mathura, and Bhagavatam. Text 126. One should perform all endeavors for Krishna. One should look forward to his mercy. One should partake of various ceremonies with devotees, ceremonies like Lord Krishna's birthday and Ramachandra's birthday. Text 127. One should surrender to Krishna in all respects. One should observe particular vows like Kartika These are some of the 64 important items of devotional service. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Krishna. So in the nectar of devotion, there are 64 items of devotional service. But here Mahaprabhu is reading out the important, the most important among the 64. Because the 64 is very extensive and maybe you cannot follow so many. So Mahaprabhu is giving us special mercy and telling us these are the things you should do at least, you know. So he has given us something like 35, you know, out of 64, a discount. So then here Krishna is very eager for his devotee to serve Tulsi, Vaishnavas, and then the holy dham like Mathura, Vrindavan, Dwarka, Rameshwaram. Mathura means like holy dham, okay? It's a place in Mathura where Krishna was born. And Bhagavatam includes Bhagavad Gita and Chaitanya Charitamrta. So Bhagavatam is actually have all this. So it's not just Bhagavatam. And you should perform everything for Krishna's pleasure. And you should always be looking for his mercy. He's always will be giving you his mercy. And you should, like just now what is just being another again is re-emphasizing on ceremonies, right, and festivals, okay? And then you should be fully surrendered to Krishna. And Kartika Vrata is on the month of Deepavali, 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after. This is called the Damodara. So that month we light a lamp to the Lord every day. We take a lamp every day and light to the Lord, because there are many nice things said. So when we come to later on, I will explain to you more about the Damodara pastime. But anyway, this is like this. Ekadasi is also important, and Kartik month is very important. Okay, now next 128, 129, and 130.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I'll read.
Yeah.
One text 128. One should one text 129. The 5 limbs of devotional service are the best of all. Even a slight performance of these 5 awakens love for Krishna. Text 130. With love and full faith, one should worship the lotus feet of the deity. Text 131. One should taste the meaning of Sri Bhagavatam in the association of pure devotees, and one should associate with the devotees who are more advanced than oneself and who are endowed with similar type of affection for the Lord. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
So the 5 limbs are chanting, association with devotees is 1. Chanting holy name 2. Hearing the scriptures Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and Chaitanya Charitamrta 3. Residing in a holy place, or make your house in a holy place, and you should have worshipped the deity with faith and remuneration. If you don't have deity at home, you can go temple. Huh? He said these are the 5 limbs, of devotional service. The Muslims have the 5 pillars of faith, right? But we have 5 limbs of devotional service. With love and full faith, one should worship the lotus feet of the deity, because the deity and the Lord is non-different. And you should hear scriptures in the association of pure devotees. At least don't have pure devotees, at least with devotees. And you cannot say, oh, there are no pure devotees, so no need to listen to devotees also. No, don't have pure devotees are okay. And you should try and learn from devotees who are more advanced than you, and then that way you can actually progress. Okay, next.
132. One should congregationally chant the holy name of the Lord and reside in Vrindavan. 133. The power of these 5 principles is the power of these 5 principles is very wonderful and difficult to understand. Even without faith in them, a person who is offenseless can awaken his dormant love of Krishna simply by being a little connected with them. 134. When one is firmly fixed in devotional service, whether he executes one or many processes of devotional service, the waves of love for Godhead will awaken. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So congregational chanting, you should, when there is bhajan or kirtan being sung, you should sit and sing together. You know, these 5 principles, just now one is very wonderful. They will awaken in you the love for the Supreme Lord. We don't have love. This is the medicine. And when you are firmly fixed in devotional service, or you even cannot follow all the many processes of devotional service, but you can follow some. Even one you follow perfectly, or some. Doesn't mean you don't do the others. And your love of Godhead will awaken. Saru, your turn.
Text 135.
Yeah.
There are many devotees who execute only one of the 9 processes of devotional service. Nonetheless, they get ultimate success. Devotees like Maharaja Ambarasa execute all 9 items and they also get ultimate success. Text 136. Maharaja Pariksit attained the highest perfection, shelter at Lord Krishna's lotus feet, simply by hearing about Lord Vishnu. Sukadeva Goswami attained perfection simply by reciting Srimad Bhagavatam. Prahlada Maharaja attained perfection by remembering the Lord. The goddess of fortune attained perfection by massaging the transcendental legs of Mahavishnu. Maharaja Prithu attained perfection by worshipping the deity. And Akrura attained perfection by offering prayers unto the Lord. Vajragaji Hanuman attained perfection by rendering service to Lord Ramachandra. And Arjuna attained perfection simply by being Krishna's friend. Bali Maharaja attained perfection by dedicating everything to the lotus feet of Krishna.
Okay, just now was the 5 limbs. Now are the 9 processes of devotional service. If you can follow just one even, normally you will do a combination, you know, because maybe you are not able to do one perfectly. So you do a combination of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to 9. So here is Ambrish Maharaj did 9 processes. He is the, you know, that's why you can do all 9, it's better. And he did all 9 correctly. And you see, the first process is hearing. So Maharaj Prakshit heard the Bhagavatam and went back to Godhead. And then second is speaking, the pastime. Sukadev Goswami narrated the Bhagavatam and he went back to Godhead. Then Prahlad Maharaj, he remembered. He is always remembering the Lord. He remembered the Lord all the time in difficulties and in happiness. And he went back. The goddess of fortune always are massaging the Lord's lotus feet. That means serving the Lord's lotus feet. So she is actually she is perfect in that way. And then Maharaj Prithu, he worshipped the deity very nicely. Very perfect worship of the deity. If you are a Brahmana in the temple and you're worshipping the deity very nicely, you're treating the deity like the Lord, you're giving him the maximum service, good, maximum best food, and thinking of him as the Supreme Lord, and that also you can go back to Godhead. Akura attained perfection by offering prayers to the Lord. He is praying very nicely, words of very nice praise to the Lord. Hanuman was rendering service to Lord Ramachandra perfectly. Whatever Lord Ramachandra said, he followed. Arjuna was by being Krishna's friend, by being with the Lord and being his Krishna's friend. Whatever, as a good friend, you do whatever your friend wants you to do. Okay? And then Bali, he is actually, Bali Maharaj is from the Bhagavatam. There were 3, Vamana Dev came And he said, take 3 steps of land because I am the king of 3 worlds. And the Lord expanded and he took 2 steps and the whole earth and the upper and lower planetary systems he covered. And then he said, I still need to cover 1 more step. You are a cheater. And then Bali Maharaj said, don't worry. My head still belongs to me. You can put your 3rd step on my head. That means he's saying, I can be your slave now. You see, firstly, I got possessions, all the world. So now the Lord took already. So he said, the 3rd step where I put, he said, you put on my head now, I'll be your slave. So in this way, dedicating everything into the lotus feet of the Lord. Saru, can you read again 137 to 140? Because just now you missed.
Sure, Prabhu. Text 100 to 139. Maharaja Amrisa always engaged his mind at the lotus feet of his words in describing the spiritual world and the supreme personality of Godhead, his hands in cleansing and washing the Lord's temple, his ears in hearing topics about the Supreme Lord, his eyes in seeing the deity of Lord Krishna in the temple, his body in embracing Vaishnavas or touching their lotus feet, his nostrils in smelling the aroma of the tulasi leaves offered to Krishna's lotus feet, his tongue in tasting food offered to Krishna, his legs in going to places of pilgrimage like Vrindavana and Mathura or to the Lord's temple, his head in touching the lotus feet of the Lord and offering him obeisances, and his desires in serving the Lord faithfully. In this way, Maharaja Amrisa engaged his sense in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. As a result, he awakened his dormant loving propensity for the Lord's service. Text 140. If a person gives up all material desires, completely engages in the transcendental loving service of Krishna, as enjoined in the revealed scriptures, he is never indebted to the demigods, sages, or forefathers.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, text. Yeah.
No, that's it. Because just now was 137, 138, 139, and 140. Okay. So here we just now Maharaj Ambrish follow all the 9 processes. So that means he used his body, mind, and thoughts all in the service of the Lord. And he used his hands to clean and wash the Lord's feet. He's the king, and he go and clean the temple. So sometimes if you shy want to clean the temple, you should not be shy. This is the Supreme Lord's temple. What's wrong with you doing? So Maharaj Ambrish is a king, and still he will also wash the Lord's temple. And then he used his ear to hear about the Lord and the scripture, eyes to see the deity, the body in embracing Vaishnavas, devotees, touching their lotus feet and serving them, And the nose he used in smelling the tulsi leaves after offering to the Lord. The tulsi leaf come out, you can smell the tulsi leaf or you can eat them. So that also he used. And then his tongue in tasting prasad, whatever is offered he eat. His leg in going to places of pilgrimage and to the temple. And his head in touching the feet of the lotus lotus feet of the Lord and offering him obeisances, bowing down, and his desires to serve the Lord. So you see, Maharaj Ambrish is perfect in all the 9 processes in the devotional service. So if you completely engage yourself in the loving service of the Lord, you will actually be a very good devotee. Okay, next 141 to 143.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Right.
One who has given up all material duties and taken full shelter at the lotus feet of Mukunda, who gives shelter to all, is not in debt to the demigod, great sages, ordinary living beings, relatives, friends, mankind, or even his forefathers who have passed away. Text 142. Although the pure devotee does not follow all the regulative principle of Varnashram, he worships the lotus feet of Krishna. Therefore, he naturally has no tendency to commit sin. Text 143. If, however, a devotee accidentally becomes involved in a sinful activity, Krishna purifies him. He does not have to undergo the regulative form of atonement. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So you can see that if you have totally surrendered to the Lord, your debt to your forefathers, to everyone is completely satisfied, just like watering the roots of the tree, the whole tree get nourished. So when you serve the Lord, all the devas who have given you all the material things to live, and to the Supreme Lord and your forefathers who have your parents who have brought you up, everything is taken care of by the Lord. You don't have to worry. They will all be satisfied. And you do not need to follow even the principles of Varnashram, because once you already follow the rules and regulations, you already become graduate already. And then you already become naturally inclined to the Lord. When you are naturally inclined to the Lord, everything is taken care of. You don't have to worry. And sometimes also you may fall down temporarily because you are in the bodily platform. So sometimes your desire just overcomes you. So you fall down and then you realize your mistake and you ask, Lord, I'm so sorry, I did something wrong. Please forgive me. Or sometimes you get very angry. Sometimes you might do something which is not correct. Okay? So Krishna purify you. He said, never mind, I take away your sins. You don't have to go for the regulative, in the Vedas is written, you do this sin, you have to atone like this. You do this sin, you have to atone like that. No need. Krishna just will take it away. And you just proceed. Don't waste your time going doing atonement, this and that. Krishna is more interested in you spending your time just being a devotee of the Lord and serving Him and remembering Him. That is what Krishna, don't waste your time. That's why Krishna is now acting like this. Huh? One 44, 45, 46. Viji?
Okay. 144. One who has 1 minute. One who has given up everything and taken full shelter at the lotus feet of Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is very dear to Krishna. If he is involved in some sinful activity by accident, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is seated within everyone's heart, removes his sins without difficulty. 145. The path of speculative knowledge and renunciation is not essential for devotional service. Indeed, good qualities such as non-violence and control of the mind and senses automatically accompany a devotee of Lord Krishna. 146. For one who is fully engaged in my devotional service, whose mind is fixed on me in Bhakti Yoga, the path of speculative knowledge and dry renunciation is not very beneficial. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So if you are fully surrendered to the Lord, again Krishna says, sinful activity by accident, he will remove the sin without difficulty. You don't have to carry the karma to your next life. You just go back to the Supreme Lord, spiritual world. So he says, learning too much about why Krishna does this, why Krishna does that, technical points or no need. All this speculative and renunciation is not important for devotional service. In the beginning, you have to do all this, but later on, you reach a mature state, you don't need anymore. Because you will have automatically non-violence and control of your mind. And when you can do your mind and senses, you can control, you can be a devotee of the Lord, because once you become a devotee of the Lord, all this also you get. So it is like chicken and egg, which one comes first? Both come together. So in this way, the Lord says that we can actually, sometimes you see devotees fighting with each other. What does that show you? They haven't reached the level. It's not that they, you say, they cannot be devotees a lot, because Krishna says that they will have non-violence and control of mind, but they are fighting each other. Must be they have violence and they cannot control their mind. So in that way, they are still not perfect. So you can understand they are maybe Madhya Adhikari, middle. They are not reached the higher level. So but they are trying to be devotees. Okay. So a devotee of the Lord is one who controls everything. Otherwise, most of us are trying to be devotees of the Lord. Okay, can you read, someone read 147, 48, 49, Saru?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Text 147. O hunter, good qualities like non-violence which you have developed are not very astonishing. For those who are engaged in the Lord's devotional service are never inclined to give pain to others because of envy. Text 148. My dear Sanatana, I have now in detail described devotional service according to the regulative principles. Now hear from me about spontaneous devotional service and its characteristics. Text 149. The original inhabitants of Vrindavana are attached to Krishna spontaneously in devotional service. Nothing can compare to such spontaneous devotional service, which is called Ragatmika Bhakti. When a devotee follows in the footsteps of the devotees of Vrindavana, his devotional service is called Raganuga Bhakti. Krishna.
So this one, hunter, this is the Mirgari hunter. He was hunting and half killing the animals, if you remember the story. And Narada Muni came and told him, stop it, what you are doing. He said, I'm doing for my family. Oh, really? Will they take part of the sins? Of course they will take. Go and ask them. So he went to ask them. They said, no, we are not going to take any of the sins. You take it yourself. Your job is to give, as a husband, is to give us food. So if you do whatever way, is your problem. Who asked you to do a sinful thing? He never asked you. You choose yourself. But your job, your duty is to give the food and money and the food for the family to survive. So then he came back and told Narada, I think I am very sad. I sin and there's no use. All the sins I have to suffer, but then what to do? He said, okay, break your bow. Break your bow and throw it in the way. So he broke the bow. So the hunter needs a bow, right? So he broke the bow. And he said, okay, you chant the name of Rama, Rama, Rama. So if he could not chant Rama, Rama, he found Mara, Mara. Mara means die, die, die. In Sanskrit, Mara is die. So he could not pronounce Rama. So he said, Narada Muni said, okay, just chant Mara, Mara. At least it's the opposite of Rama. So he chant, and Narada Muni left. 1 year later, he came back, and then the Mirgari saw him. He came and and he saw ants on the path. He was very careful not to step on the ants, and he came and he bowed down in front of Nada Muni. And Nada Muni was very pleased. He said, "Are you okay?" He said, "Yeah, I'm fine." "Are you getting enough food?" "Yes." "How?" He said, "Everyone is so surprised that a hunter can become a holy man that they come to see him. And in tradition, when you come and see somebody, you must bring some gift. So they bring, some bring rice, some bring fruits, some bring vegetables. You know, so much." He said, "So much is coming, more than I can eat also, more than enough for my family." So he is coming to bow down to him. So this is why he said, once you become non-violent, you will develop good qualities, because those who are engaged in the Lord's devotional service, because a hunter suddenly became a chanting the Lord's name, is engaging in Lord's devotional service. So he has no inclination to give pain to others, especially animals he was giving pain to, right? So because of envy. You give pain because of envy. When you hurt people, it's because of envy. But the jihadis, they are killing people because of envy. They know they have to go to hell. So they are very envious. They are killing other people, but they think that they are going heaven. So in this way, Krishna very clearly is saying, these people are causing pain to others. They will go to hell because they are full of envy. They think they are spiritual, but actually they are full of envy. So Krishna, Sanatan, I've described you the regulative principle because you have reached to the level. So then he's saying that the devotees of Vrindavan, even though they never read the scripture, they never follow very clearly, but they are totally thinking of me and surrendered to me. That is the highest level. So in all this, reading all this actually is not important. But then when you don't have the love for the Lord, you have to do all this and hopefully come to the level. And this is Krishna is saying, this is the highest level. Mahaprabhu is saying this is the highest level. So how he's describing, we cannot reach this level even up to the time of death. I don't think we are having that type of level. But anyway, at least we understand this is the ultimate, and how much percentage we can reach that level, we try and reach. Otherwise, other than that, Krishna, by his mercy, anyway, he will take us back. You don't have to worry so much. Okay, so next.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Very good.
When one becomes attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead according to one's natural inclination to love Him and is fully absorbed
Done.
in the thoughts
151.
of 150,
Yeah.
150, right?
50 done.
Okay, sorry, 151. The primary characteristic of the spontaneous love is deep attachment for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Absorption in his thought of Him is marginally characteristic. 152. Thus, the devotional service which consists of raga, deep attachment, is called ragamitka, spontaneously loving service. If a devotee covets such a position, he is considered to be most fortunate. 153. If one follows in the footsteps of the inhabitant of Vrindavan out of such transcendental covetousness, he does not care for the injunction or reasoning of Shastra. That is the way of spontaneous love. Hare Krishna.
You read the Krishna Lila, Krishna book, you will see how the inhabitants of Vrindavan, everything they just follow whatever Krishna wants. You know, even though it is against the rules and regulations of culture, they will disregard the culture because they will just follow, and Krishna is testing them. Okay, next.
Devotional service is spontaneous love. Devotional service in spontaneous love is vividly expressed and manifested by inhabitants of Vrindavan. Devotional service that accords with their devotional service is called Raganuga Bhakti, or devotional service following in the wake of spontaneous loving service. 155. When an advanced realized devotee hears about the affairs of the devotees of Vrindavan in the mellows of Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya, he becomes inclined in one of these ways, and his intelligence becomes attracted. Indeed, he begins to covet that particular type of devotion. When such covetousness is awakened, one's intelligence is no longer depends on the instruction of Shastra, revealed scriptures, or on logic and argument. 156 to 57.
No, I think
That,
it's done already.
oh, sorry.
Okay. So if you read the Krishna book, you follow how they never follow the injunctions of the Shastra, and they had spontaneous love. They never read Gita, they never read Bhagavatam, nothing there. But they had love for Krishna without any second thought. So this is this highest level. So when you hear about the loving affairs of Vrindavan, in the sense of Santa, Santa is neutral. When you reach the spiritual world, there are 5 positions you can take. In Vrindavan, in Vaikunta, there are 2. The 2 are Santa and Dasya. I will explain to you what is Santa and Dasya. But in Vrindavan, Goloka, Vrindavan is 5. You be one of these 5. Santa is you love Krishna, but you do not want to do service. So you become like the tree, the rock, the bird in the spiritual world, because you don't want to do service. Dasya is a servant. So in Dasya is like when you are doing like a master and servant relationship. You like to be like the servant of the Lord, like Hanuman. Sakya is like a friend, like Arjuna. Vatsyala is like parent, like Yashoda, Nanda, and Nanda Maharaj, parents. And Madhurya is lover of the Lord, like the Gopi. Most of us will fall under Dasya or Sakya, servant of friend. This Vatsyala may be. Madhurya is a very, very high level. If you are really in this, like how the Gopis are, then you will be. But I don't know how much of us can really reach that level. Because this, when you are totally wanting to be one of the 5, or you love the Lord in one of the 5 ways, then the injunction of the Shastra is also no. Last time there was one family. They were digging the ground because they are farmers. They are digging the ground and they found a deity of Gopala, Krishna, beautiful deity. Because during the Muslim times, they are trying to destroy all the temples, and so a lot of the Hindus, they take their deities and some of them bury with the intention that they will dig it up. But like this Gopal deity was buried, but the person who buried, maybe he died or he forgot where he buried, he could not find. So anyway, this family found it. And they found it, and then they treat him like the one of the family members. So what they do when they eating, they put Krishna on one chair and they sit in the other chairs and they serve the food and they give one plate to Krishna. They are eating together with Krishna. And by rules and regulations, this is wrong. You're supposed to offer to Krishna and then after that eat. But then they are eating with Krishna. So So one day, one of the Goswamis came and then he went to their house and then he saw them doing that. He said, hey, you are doing wrong, you cannot do like this. Not good. That's not the way to do. And then, so then they were very frightened. After that, they stopped doing that and they put Krishna on the altar. And then they do like that. And then in the middle of the night, Krishna came to a dream of the Goswami. He said, why you disturb? I was very happy enjoying with them, They were having spontaneous love for me. And then you go and disturb everything. Now you see, they are putting me on the thing and worship me like God. I don't like this. I want them to be like family. You spoil everything. So then after that, Krishna said, never mind. Anyway, you go back there and then they will give you the deity, because I will tell them to give you the deity. I will come with you. So then in the night also, Krishna came in a dream of the father of the house and said, the sadhu will come back again, please give me to him. So in this way, the Goswami went there and he begged forgiveness. I'm so sorry. He said, no, anyway, Krishna came in a dream. He said to give to you, you please take it. So then he took the deity. And then he said, I am a mendicant, I going round. I only beg, and then they give me dry roti and all that. How I'm going to serve you? I don't even cook. Because I'm so busy writing about about the literature about you. How I'm going to do? I only get dry roti also I eat. He says, okay, no problem. So then, and then I don't have a house. I have to stay under a tree many times. Never mind, it's okay. The deity told. So anyway, we took. So then that's the story of the deity, how spontaneous loving service. Okay. So internally and externally you have fully like this. Okay. Now 158 to 156 onwards. Taru.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Text 158. The advanced devotee who is inclined to spontaneous loving follow the activities of a particular associate of Krishna's in Vrindavana. He should execute service externally as a regulative devotee as well as internally from his self-realized position. Thus, he should perform devotional service both externally and internally. Text 159. Actually, the inhabitants of Vrindavana are very dear to Krishna. If one wants to engage in spontaneous loving service, he must follow the inhabitants of Vrindavana and constantly engage in devotional service within his mind. Text 160. The devotee should always think of Krishna within himself and should choose a very dear devotee who is servitor of Krishna in Vrindavana. One should constantly engage in topics about that servitor and his loving relationship with Krishna. And one should live in Vrindavana. If one is physically unable to go to Vrindavana, he should mentally live there.
Okay. So here you can understand, you want to be very dear, you must be spontaneous. Automatically you are very attached. Just like the husband and the wife who love each other, they are very attached. The parents and the children love each other, are spontaneously attached. So Krishna is the way you should love Krishna is just spontaneously attached to the Lord, because the Lord is always with you. The Lord is helping you all the time. So you can realize that when the Lord is in everyone's heart, you can realize that you will automatically have spontaneous loving relationship with the Lord. That's why you can't go to Vrindavan. You can imagine that you are going to Vrindavan. That is also okay. You know how easy it is. No problem. Muslims, you must go to Hajj. But if you don't have money, you can just mentally go, example. So here, who's next?
I'll read Prabhu, text 161.
Yeah.
Krishna has many types of devotees. Some are servants, some are friends, some are parents, and some are congenial lovers. Devotees who are situated in one of these attitudes of spontaneous love, according to their choice, are considered to be on the path of spontaneous loving service. Text 162. My dear mother, we Deva Yudhe, O
Devahuti.
Devahudi, O emblems of speech, my weapon, the disc of time, never vanquishes those for whom I am very dear, for whom I am this super soul, son, friend, spiritual master, well-wisher, worshipful deity, and desired goal. Since the devotees are always attached to me, they are never vanquished by the agent of time. 163. Let me offer my respectful obeisances again and again to those who have always eagerly meditate upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead as husband, son, friend, brother, father, and intimate friend. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So the situation is that your, she said, Devahuti, emblem of peace, the disc of time. Time is the weapon. But the weapon kills all materialistic people. But those who have made it to the spiritual world, they are never vanquished. They go back to the spiritual world. Because I'm very dear to them and they are very dear to me. They know me as a super soul. Sometimes they know me as a son. Sometimes they know me as a friend. Sometimes they know me as spiritual master. Sometimes well-wisher. Sometimes the deity. Sometimes the desired goal of life. So all these are devotees are attached to me. They are never vanquished by the agents of time. So he said, let me offer my respectful to those who always eagerly meditate upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead in one of these 5 ways. So 4 ways. The neutral way is not written here. Okay? Because that's not a very high level. That's not spontaneous. Okay, next, who's next?
One 164. If one engages in spontaneous loving service to the Lord, his affection for the lotus feet of Krishna gradually increases. 165. In the seed of affection, there is attachment which goes by 2 names, Radhi and Bhava. The Supreme Personality of Godhead comes under the control of such attachment. 166. That by which one can attain loving service to the Lord, I have described in detail as the execution of devotional service called Abhideya. Hare Krishna.
So there are different, there are Rati and Bhava. Later Krishna will explain. And he says that if you have reached Rati and Bhava, I become your servant. Krishna says everyone wants to be my servant, but when you reach that level, I am becoming your servant. That's why Krishna doesn't like to give so much high love for this. Like the gopis have reached that level. So he's like indebted to them. He said, I cannot pay back my debt to them because they love me so much. And Krishna likes this type of love. He likes friend love. He likes family love. He doesn't like the love of awe and reverence so much. Lord Vishnu likes, but he doesn't like so much. So in this way, uh, you can understand. Okay, Krishna Kumari, you can read
Yes, Prabhu.
167.
167, Prabhu.
Pardon?
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, 167. 168, 169.
Hello.
Yeah, can you hear? 167.
167 until 169.
Yeah.
Okay. Text 167. My dear Sanatana, I have briefly described the process of a devotional service in a pratis, which is the means for obtaining love of Krishna. It cannot be described broadly. Text 168. Whoever hear this description of the process of a practical devotional service very soon attains shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna in love and affection. Text 169. Praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunatha, always desiring their mercy, I Krishna Dasa Narate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta, following in their footsteps.
Okay. He says,
Thank
my
you.
dear Sanatan, he's been speaking, Mahaprabhu, who is non-different from Lord Krishna. He says, I have briefly described the devotional service in practice to get supreme love for me. Whoever hears this and follows this very soon will get the lotus feet of Krishna in love and affection. And then he is praying to the lotus feet of the person who's writing this, Krishna Das Kaviraj is speaking this, praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy. I, Krishna Das, narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta. He's the one who's writing all this. He's hearing and writing. He's getting inspiration. So this is the end of today's chapter. Okay?
Thank you. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Any questions?
Hare Krishna, everyone.
Thank you. Hare Krishna, everyone. Hare Krishna.